Garden, and welcome to my review of everything I read for Pride Month in 2025. I'm Avalon, indie author, and your asexual aficionado for the evening. It's been a while since I've done a reading wrap-up video. For a while, I decided to keep my book reviews to the quick review short videos and only expand upon books that I had a lot to say about or that were requested by my supporters on Ko-fi and Patreon. But the more I thought about these books, the more I realized that I wasn't satisfied with just the quick reviews. I won't go into as much depth here as I do in my comprehensive review videos. There also won't be spoilers in this video, so you don't have to worry about skipping over any sections. The first book I read for Pride Month was Sir Callie and the Champions of Helston by Esme Sims Smith. In this middle-grade fantasy adventure, a non-binary squire fights against prejudice of many kinds when their father, a famous knight, is called to the castle to train the young prince in the ways of combat. Of the new books that I read for Pride Month this year, I think that Sir Callie was my favorite. It was easy to read and engaging. I finished it in less than 24 hours. Both the fantasy plot and social commentary worked hand in hand, with neither feeling like they were taking precedence over the other. Rather, the commentary that applies to our world was presented in a way that enhanced the fantasy world building as well. My favorite character was Prince Will, and not only because he kind of looks like Marth, I love soft-spoken, artsy male characters. Callie themselves was also an enjoyable protagonist, and the supporting cast was varied in their traits, experiences, and reactions. They felt well thought out, and each of them contributed something different to the story. The story continues in 3 more volumes, and from what I've seen of their descriptions, I'm really interested in checking them out. My second book for Pride Month was This Is Our Rainbow, a middle-grade anthology of 16 different stories by various queer authors, including Marco Shiro, Claribel Ortega, and Alex Gino, to name a few. I feel that This Is Our Rainbow did a great job with intersectional representation, as many of the characters were also non-white in addition to being queer. There was also a lot of different types of queer representation, and representation for different situations that queer youth experience, such as first crushes, rejections, coming out, and some things that have nothing to do with the queer experience, but that queer kids still deal with, like losing a pet. However, I felt that a lot of the entries were just a little too short for me to become fully invested in each of the characters, especially for the few that were more fantasy-based and also needed time to establish setting. My favorites were Purple of Life by Alex Gino, Paper Planes by Claribel Ortega, and The Golem and the Mapmaker by Molly Knox Osterstag. Next up was a book that I bought for Ray's birthday, Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Navoa. Most Ardently is part of a book series called Remixed Classics, which takes works from the English literary canon and reinterprets them through the lenses of minority groups that are often left out of the predominantly white male upper-class world of publishing. Most Ardently is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice that reimagines Elizabeth Bennet as a trans man named Oliver. While I did enjoy this story as a historical romance, including research into the actual queer scene of the Regency era, it really wasn't much of an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. Easily the weakest parts of this book were the moments that tried to force in characters and plot points from Jane Austen's work. And I must admit, given the attitudes around women publishing during Austen's time, and the focus her work gave to humanizing and showing the complex worlds and minds of women, it feels a little strange to make this particular classic focus on a trans man as the lead. If it was just a historical romance about a trans man, I'd like it a lot more. That said, there are other remixed classics I find myself more interested in, such as Self-Made Boys, a retelling of The Great Gatsby that finally gives us the Nick and Jay love story we all knew was there. Tragically, I don't think it will include Sin Squad's Eldritch editions, but I suppose we can't have everything. I did not intend to read Nevermore by Kate Flynn and Kit Trace for Pride Month specifically, but I did anyway. And let me tell you, if Nevermore had existed when I was in middle school, it would have been my entire personality. I would have been insufferable about this comic. There's a mysterious boarding school in the afterlife run by eldritch versions of Ingo and Emmett from Pokemon, where students compete with each other to earn a second chance at life. There are innumerable references to the works of Edgar Allan Poe. The character designs are amazing, especially the specters. I am obsessed. Lenore is everything I love in a gothic heroine, and her relationship with Annabelle is so messy. I was denied Raven and Apple being canon in Ever After High, so Nevermore feels like what I am owed for that loss, honestly. I'll post an update on my thoughts when Season 2 is finished. Lastly, I reread So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens. I really enjoyed this book the first time I read it, and I already have a full video on it. When I downsized my library for the move to our house, So This Is Ever After was a regrettable casualty. I found a paperback copy in a used bookshop to rectify that mistake, and now, having reread it, I'm so glad I did. There were so many moments in this book that I had to pause and read out loud to my husband because they were laugh-out-loud funny. This book feels like a D&D campaign that we would play with our friends, and I love it for that. Even the premise gives the group chat came up with an idea and ran with it. After slaying the evil overlord of the land, Eric accidentally triggers a spell wherein he becomes king and must find his soulmate by his 18th birthday, which is in 3 months, or die. He tries romancing each member of his adventuring party, hilariously missing that his soulmate is the best friend Matt, who's been at his side the entire time, while the other party members are all waiting for Eric and Matt to get together. Like I said, the setup leads to a lot of laugh-out-loud moments, but there are also some legitimately touching and heartwarming scenes as well. It's a great time and a great read. And that is everything I read during Pride Month 2025. Have you read any of these books or comics? What did you read for Pride Month, and what would you recommend? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content like it, and check out the links in the description for other ways to support my work. Keep growing until next time, Rose Garden!